This deck is different, I promise. Well, it's Grundle again, but it's a deck idea that I've come up with. I'll name it the Turn 4 Atlas deck. I've talked about it in a previous video at the end of the video in my reviews portion. And as its name suggests, this deck is entirely focused on achieving one mission, one job, and only one job in life, to over-advance a Project Atlas by turn 4. So right now what you're seeing is turn 2. What happens on turn 2 is I set up a remote. Ideally with 2 pieces of ice, because against criminals and kids, you need 2 pieces of ice to stay out. Now, I get hit by an indexing, which is really unfortunate. That's what happens when I show my ice wall. Which is really weird. You don't really expect an indexing in Kit because usually she gets through servers only once a turn. And indexing requires you to run multiple times in the same turn, more or less. But he got the better of me here because he does have a battering ram to play with. Alright, so he does take out geothermal fracking. Now this is turn 3. Turn 3 is where I put the Atlas in the remote and place 1 advancement counter on it. Typically, you always see the Project Atlas in my hand, maybe because the runner stole it, maybe because I didn't draw it. In any case, I have 2 fast tracks in this deck. So typically a turn 4 would involve playing fast track to retrieve the Atlas and install advancing it. But I didn't need to because I had an Atlas in my hand. So this is turn 4, I score my Atlas and suddenly I'm in very good shape. If he steals, I can scorch him down right now. Because I've scored my Atlas, I can pull out a sea source. And he sees the scorched earth. So he relentlessly hits my HQ because he knows that there's nothing on R&D, having indexed it. So now he's clearing my hand of any agendas. Well, someone made a mistake somewhere because I just drew an Atlas. He didn't take it from R&D. So that was a big mistake by him. I think it was carelessness on his part. He forgot the number of turns that elapsed since he indexed. I think he was searching for the Atlas that I would have drawn, but he didn't find it because it was on top of R&D. So since he gave me a free Atlas, I'm going to take the freebie by scoring my second over advanced Atlas. Alright, he attempts to contest the Atlas. He knows it's there. I rest the Enigma. And I keep him out completely with Chimera. Once again, if you're not playing AI Breakers, or if you're not playing Anarch with Parasites, you're not getting in. Alright, so I decide whether I should advance the Atlas or not. I decide to in the end because now I'm really forcing him to get lots of money, otherwise I can double scorch him down. And more importantly, once I score a single hostile takeover, I'm basically counting down my turns to win because I can draw 2 hostile takeovers with my Atlases. Alright, but scoring all those Atlases made me dirt poor, so now it's time to get credits back. I also decide to ice up HQ, I believe, because I do not want him doing funny things. I still have a priority rack in my hand, and if he steals it, he will advance to the point of match point. Okay, I almost completely forgot that HQ is completely porous. R&D is completely porous. He has a battering ram out, so I need to be careful with that. Now, I decide to go for the win right away. If I score this geothermal fracking, next turn I can pull out hostile takeover for the win. So, how is he going to get through my server with only a battering ram? Well, we'll find out. He scavenges the battering ram for a torch to get past the Enigma. He test runs for Femme Fatale to place on the innermost Chimera. So this guarantees him entry. Oh no, he plays Tinkering, of course. Tinkering is such a good card. Didn't see that coming. But that's a very good card. You almost forgot it exists. Well, it's previously it was a staple in any kit deck for obvious reasons, but I've seen much less of it nowadays. But hey, Tinkering is still a fantastic card and it's working perfectly here. He's playing an Oracle main deck, which is which has like 41 event cards and 3 programs and the Oracle Maid itself. He's using Tinkering as an event that can allow him to get through servers easily, and that he certainly did. Alright, so here, right now what I'm doing is to continue digging for the hostile takeover. Right now I don't really care about what he gets from R&D because now my only goal in life is to fetch 3 hostile takeovers. I draw my second Scorch, but I can't Scorch him down because he's too rich. Oracle Maid economy is doing wonders for him. So here's what I do. I defend R&D. I gain money. This is a mistake. Here what I should have done was to defend HQ and use fast track to fetch the hostile takeover. Then I can score it next turn. So now he's rampaging through my HQ. Yep, I think that was a mistake. I really should have pulled out the hostile takeover earlier. I'm spending way too much time idling around doing nothing while he's slowly but surely building up credits. I should have known by this point that there was no way I'm going to win through the Sea Scorch condition. So yeah, this came too late. This is what I should be doing. Place another piece of ice on HQ and fetch the hostile takeover. Now I'm daring him to come in. He has to, because he knows if I get the hostile takeover pumping, he's not going to win the game. So he fams the innermost piece of ice. Very wise move. Which means he can get through HQ once every turn. Alright, so he runs on his third click. What I do here is to res only the inner ice, the Chimera. This will still deactivate Kit's ability, so he won't be able to get in the last run. Well, he will be able to, because Grim is a sentry and he has spam, but at least I will stop him from... I will tax him massively, which could be of help. So I do res the Chimera. Yep. If he doesn't get a hostile takeover, I'll score it next turn, and I'll be 2 turns away from victory. But of course, he pulls the Frailty Rack and he wins the game. Anticlimactic ending there. But so yes, this is basically my turn 4 Atlas deck. Typically, if you have 1 overscored Atlas, you should win the game, and with 2 overscored Atlases, there's no way you won't win the game. But judging by this, obviously, I have a lot more to improve on. Again, the biggest mistake was leaving HQ not playing faster. The hostile takeover should have been summoned way earlier. I should be daring him to do stupid things like making runs just to fetch my hostile takeover, which can lead to a Sea Scorch combo. Yep. I wasn't placing enough pressure on him, and by the time I did, he was well built up and had more than enough credits and resources to get through my servers. Big mistake, but you live and learn. I like this deck. I'll be playing it some more. Thanks for watching. Happy Networking.